Hey, y'all, welcome to the Common Good Podcast, July 7th, 2026 version. Rob, my first podcast as a 60-year-old man. Finally completed it. Finally got it behind me.
Yep. You had Dugapalooza this week in
Mhm,
Minneapolis. We
mhm.
saw some of the pictures and very sad that we weren't able to join. It looked like a lot of fun and a lot of people that we love and celebrating the fact that 60 years ago your mom did something really spectacular.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. That is my favorite joke, that birthdays are the time where you learn to take credit for things your mom did.
Yep.
And I said that to a friend here, and he said, that's why on my birthday, I always call my mom and speak to her and send her flowers. Like, God,
Oh,
you're a better son. It's Abe Bonowitz, that guy.
oh, of
What a
course.
what a
Of course.
what a good son. Yeah, it's like a birthday is my other joke, which I used half a dozen times over the course of a series of events from the weekend, was it seems like everybody I know is having a birthday this year. Which is a great joke, especially when you use it around people born on leap year, and they're like,
Oh.
"Not me."
Do you know a lot
Still
of
waiting
people
for.
born on
I do. I know three. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, three people in the 29th. I mean, you know what? When you're 60, you've had a lot of years to meet a lot of people, and so yeah. Do you know anybody
There you
born?
go.
Do you know any leap year babies? Any 29th of
Mm,
February? Every 4 years? Is that right? Is it like?
yeah. Yeah. I feel like I do, but I can't think of them off the
Hmm,
top of my head.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know who they are. Sure, there's somebody.
I mean,
Yeah,
a couple of years I'll probably remember. They just, it's like they like just occasionally I'm trying to make a leap year joke here that isn't working.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's a real stretch for you to get there. Real leap. Yeah. So anyway, the country also had a birthday, Rob. And how was it
Yeah.
celebrated there, where you are squirreled away somewhere outside Fayetteville, Arkansas?
We had some friends over and had a really nice time. I have perfected grilling chicken legs. And so I
Oh,
grilled chicken. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
what's the trick of your perfection?
Um, 5 minutes per side, rotating clockwise, so you give them 20 minutes, and then you put the sauce or the spices on, and
Hmm.
you do another 4 minutes on each side.
36 minutes to cook chicken legs?
28 minutes to cook chicken legs.
Huh. Thought you said 4 more minutes on each side, and then
I
before you
did.
had four
Well, I
sides.
mean front and back,
Okay.
not
So
not
sometimes you're
not the
working
full.
four sides and sometimes you're working.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know how you got
Some.
four sides out of a chicken leg. I don't know how you
Yeah.
find that.
Yeah.
28 minutes
Yeah,
for chicken
sometimes you
legs.
gotta prop them. You gotta prop them up against each other.
Uh,
Sometimes they don't roll around. Yeah, yeah, but relatively low heat, and just yeah,
like what? Like
yeah, it's good.
250, 220?
I don't. It's on the grill. I don't know what the temperature
Oh,
is.
you like set it to like a number, like 7 or something? 4?
I don't even have that. It's near low
Uh, well, as long
as
as we're
opposed to high.
how many did you do? How many chicken legs did you make?
I did 24.
Wow. That's a lot of turning.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got to take you 4 minutes just to turn all that.
yeah. It's not, no, no, no,
Okay.
it's all right.
I'd
Yeah,
like
but
to see.
we had
I'd
a
like
good
to see. I'd
time.
like to see a video of how fast you can turn 24 chicken legs and land them on their little half sides.
It doesn't take 24 minutes or 4 minutes. And, I'm still, before we started here, I'm still eating leftover peach cobbler from
Oh,
our celebration. So my
did you did
sister-in-law
you
had made.
did you get out to the to see the people and shake hands and walk in parades? Were you a candidate of the commoners?
I was, yes,
How was that?
yes. Always super fun. Though I tell you this, we'll get a little campaign update right off the top here.
Yeah.
Doug, we are embroiled in a new controversy here in Arkansas politics.
I wish I had the photo up because I saw two posts from Rob for Congress,
Yeah.
I have no
We are in.
idea what you're talking about. No
Oh yeah,
idea.
totally.
Hey, Republican
Yeah,
Party,
it's
why
crazy.
don't you do it next time? Just says Steve
Yeah,
Womack
yeah,
election.
yeah,
What is
yeah, yeah. So we're in the midst of Signgate here
okay, sign gate.
in yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Okay.
So the Republican Party of Arkansas has filed a federal election commission complaint against candidate for common good and our dear friend Chris Jones, who's running for Congress in Arkansas's 2nd congressional district. They filed this federal election commission complaint because they're claiming accurately that Chris's campaign signs do not comply with federal law. Doug, do you know what federal law requires for campaign signs?
What's required? Paid for by
Mm-hmm.
has to be on there.
And
The Office.
no, no, no. The pay you're never going to
Donald
get
Trump is a criminal who's been
it.
convicted and has to pay the fine for slandering a
The
person who
pay
sexually
for
assaulted.
the
No.
paid for by message has to be inside of a box.
Oh, it has to be paid for by, and that has to be set out with a border around it,
It has to have a box.
a box.
Chris's campaign signs, some of them, not all of them, some of them had a very much larger than required, paid for message, but it did not have a box around it.
Okay. Okay.
And so the Republican Party of Arkansas filed a federal election a commission complaint against Chris Jones because of this. Well, Chris immediately put out a statement and said, "Oh, wow, we made a mistake. We'll fix it." Like totally owning this. Like, yeah, we didn't do it the way we were supposed to. Yeah, totally. This reminded me that my opponent, Steve Womack, often has signs that are around the community, not yard signs like. Wow, the comments coming in are just completely
I got them.
disconnected from
Just,
anything we're talking about.
No, it's the title. It's the title. They're responding
Oh,
to the fact that we said Donald Trump has continued to fail, couldn't even celebrate the country well, has damaged us globally, and here, all of which we will get to, all of which are
yeah,
true. A failure upon failures, nothing but a terrible
wow,
griff.
yeah, and just the snowflakes are just triggered by the title.
And as proud Americans, we speak up and say, this man, his
So
atrocities will not stand in a November.
my
MAGA
opponent has
will be returned to its place of inconsequence. But go on.
my opponent.
Back to Republicans arguing about the box around the paid
Yes.
for words.
Yeah, my opponent uses signs, and they get reused every year. Uses signs that have no paid for message on them at all. At all. And the point of the disclaimer is not the box in which it lives, it's the clarification of who paid for this sign. It's so stupid. It's this performative, ridiculous garbage.
Yeah. Look, fulfilling the demands of campaign finance rules is absurd.
Yeah. So I put out a little message that said, "Hey, Republican Party of Arkansas, now do Steve Womack."
Yes, that
let's
was
see you
so
file the
obscure
complaint.
though to a non-person to
Oh
know.
yeah. But the people here,
Did he spell
in
Womack
Arkansas,
wrong. I was looking at the letters. I'm like, what is?
Yeah. And so, and the reason I had these pictures is because someone in my district filed an FEC complaint
Oh,
against
wonderful.
Steve Womack
Wonderful.
back in January, um, during the primary election, and sent me a copy of it.
Hmm.
And I, thought, uh, it seems like there's more important things to talk about. You
Until
know?
until the Republicans filed a complaint.
Oh, and then they go petty, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, and so there's this great video from the ABC affiliate in Little Rock, interviewing Chris, and he is talking about, "Hey, we made a mistake, and, yeah, we're gonna fix it," and he has a white Sharpie, and as he is talking to them, he's just drawing a box around the paid for message on his sign.
Awesome. Awesome.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So it's sign gate happening here in Arkansas.
Well, I hope you guys get that. I hope we get that figured out for the so people know who's paying for the
Who
uh
paid for the bus?
who paid for the bus. Yeah, this is a big thing in Republican world that they will MAGA world, especially. They will really want to know who paid for it
Yeah.
until it's Donald Trump spending billions on his little pet projects.
Yeah.
And then they're never concerned who's paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, who pays for Donald Trump's defense attorneys when he's found guilty of fraud in the state of New York? Who pays for his defense
Probably
attorneys when he's
nobody.
brought up on charges for defaming a person?
They're
Has to pay $84 million.
they're talking about, can we take the
They
president of the United States into
don't care.
collections to actually get paid?
Could
The
the state of Idaho be paid back for Trump stiffing the airport for his? The reason he had to fly into Idaho for a campaign event in Jeffrey Epstein's former plane is because the plane he used for his campaign wasn't allowed to land there because they didn't pay their bills.
Yeah.
The grifter and thief can't pay his bills. And they're worried about Chris Jones putting a box. And also, why are how do people get campaign finance or campaign signs wrong? Isn't there like there's got to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
two rules. I knew one of them. I don't even make campaign
Yeah.
signs.
Well, the rules are different on the federal side than the state side,
Okay.
and his sign complied with what, if he was running for state office, it would have been correct.
Oh, I see.
But since he's running for federal office, so yeah. But
Wonderful.
he made a mistake. He's fixing it. It's no big deal.
Yeah,
But
you're right on. Right on. That's what you do. And
yeah,
I'm sure
that's what I
I'm sure
loved
Steve
his
Womack
attitude about it. He's
is
like,
gonna fix it as well. I'm sure.
yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
so.
Do the Robb Ryerse for Congress signs have a
Of course they
good-hearted-
do.
good-hearted
Of course they do. It
Hey,
says paid for, and there's a box and everything.
let's talk about mistakes that people won't admit to. Here's some
Yeah.
photos of Freedom 250 celebration that was supposed to be a national event funded by Congress and then taken over by Grifter in Chief, turned into a nonprofit where he paid his friends and family members extraordinary amounts of money to fail the country. A man who couldn't put together a party on the 250th anniversary and caused half of America to say, I don't want anything to do with the whatever centennial it is when you're the 250th centennial or celebration. Look at what's great about the Freedom 250 celebration of the United States of America's 250th anniversary since our Revolutionary War. We got to see how green the grass is all over the Washington Mall because there weren't
I mean,
people.
wait a minute. Is that the mall? That's not the reflecting pool?
That's a good joke. Is it the reflecting pool that is bright green, or is it the grass? I mean, it's just the failures of this man as the president of our United States really does go from the absurd and trivial, having his name taken off of the Kennedy Center, having his policies overturned, having American businesses have to go bankrupt because of his tariffs, seeing people lose their health care, just failure after failure. We won't even get yet into what's going on with NATO, his ability to jinx a football club. It's just an absurd level of failures, one after the other, this man.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
you want to know what the solution should be for MAGA politicians to not have control of the federal government, every single thing was better when Trump wasn't president. And if you want to name a thing that's better now. Give me a thing. Go back 2 years and tell me a thing that the president has done that has made things better.
I'm objectively trying to think. And Doug, I was ready to come on here and have the hot take that I finally had something that I was in agreement with Donald Trump on. I was fully supportive. I was gonna, I was gonna talk about how happy I was to have a president who would, be a real person, who would argue for you know, a red card to be changed, to be rescinded, just like a dad at a soccer game,
Yeah. Yeah.
with his 11-year-old kid yelling at the ref. I'm like, yeah, and then he got involved, and of course, Team USA lost.
The president,
The New York Knicks were on a 13-game winning streak on their way to a world championship. He attended a game. They lost. His mere presence just the presence of him brings failure.
brings failure. Look, the man should start being the executive of the executive branch of one of the most significant nations on planet Earth.
Yeah.
And stop hosting entertainment sports events.
Mhm.
Stop interfering in
Mhm.
international sporting events.
Mhm.
Stop attending sporting events and do your job. Or, Mr. President, do the greatest thing you've ever considered doing for this country. Stand up and say, I resign the presidency effective noon tomorrow. Join in the path of the other failed president of your very same tradition, the one who J.D. Vance, your little understudy, has said wasn't such a bad guy after all. Watergate would have been a 5-hour news story in today's world. Just resign the presidency and get on with grifting and running little sporting events and calling people and saying you should change the ruling of a sports call. Rob, you know how we're reminded on a regular basis that the stock market is not the economy?
Yeah.
Sports is not real life. It is one entertainment component of the world. You don't get involved in a red card ruling in an international sporting event.
And listen, Doug, and let's just say this. I have watched more soccer in the last 3 weeks than I've watched in my entire life.
Yes.
Because the World Cup is here in the United States and blah blah blah, and so I feel like I'm now an expert. I feel like I can clearly say that the red card call was absolutely atrocious. It was uncalled for and, just a terrible decision by the referee. And I know this because I have watched several soccer games now. I mean, recently.
That's right.
And so
while doing something else, to be fair, you were
True,
also, you know,
true. Oh, also, yes, like, have a soccer game on while I'm working. Yes. So I feel fully qualified, and if I had the number of the president of FIFA, I might very well, call that number and say, "Hey, this needs to be rescinded." Um, Keep in mind, this is the same president of FIFA that Donald Trump called, who awarded Donald Trump the FIFA Peace Prize
yes.
because he did not win the Nobel Peace Prize.
And to be
Is
clear,
that from Belgium?
there are
Where do they
there are few international organizations that are as corrupt as FIFA.
Sweden. Sweden. Oh, yeah, totally
This has
correct.
been known for decades.
Yeah,
People in the football world globally know that FIFA
soccer.
is a complete disaster.
Yeah.
And of course, Donald Trump wants to act like a mob boss instead of a president and get all embroiled in saying what should happen on a play and a penalty that keeps a player from playing. Here's what Donald Trump then said in a press conference. In the Oval Office press conference, Trump openly admitted to asking for a review, stating, I asked for a review. It's one thing to penalize someone for the game, but how do you penalize them for a game that hasn't been played yet? It's very unfair. You can't do that. Donald Trump's quote. Before we get to the rest of what he said,
Okay,
he's
that's a
not only
fundamental.
he's not only arguing that a red card shouldn't have been given because of the activity that took place for which the red card was given. He's saying it shouldn't exist in professional international
Yeah,
football that a person who commits an action that is deemed to be so dangerous is suspended for the next match.
yes.
He's
Yeah,
saying that the
it's very
rule
yes.
itself, the president of the United States should be saying nothing about the structure of the rule of FIFA football matches.
Yeah.
Do your job. This economy is in shambles. You've got us embroiled in wars around the world. You have got us leaving NATO. You are emboldening China. They're all the things you are supposed to be doing, you are failing at. And then you decide to spend your time and time in the Oval Office on the rules of FIFA. It's so absurd. And if you're a Trump supporter and you think this is not bizarre, absurd behavior, I'd
It's
kindly
so
ask you to
funny.
reconsider.
It's
It's
so funny.
just
Like, dude,
nuts.
what are you doing? And he can't help himself. He thought, "Oh, this'll be a clear, easy win that, I'll be able to." And then he gets the decision overturned, and then the men's national soccer team uh just goes out and gets absolutely destroyed by
Yes,
Belgium last night.
yes. And they still lost. And Trump went on to say he lambasted the match's referee, a Brazilian official, calling him, quote, very suspect and suggesting that the entire tournament would be rigged if the U.S. lost under those conditions. I am sure he's going to come out and still say somehow
It's
it was
Joe
rigged
Biden's fault. It's Joe
because the
Biden's fault.
because the loser in chief always wants to blame someone. Rob, you know what else I find to be completely bizarre about this whole story?
What's that?
The player
Yeah.
that Donald Trump wanted to have reinstated and not to
Yep.
play under the rules of
Yep.
FIFA
Yep. According to Donald Trump's interpretation of the Constitution,
should not be considered an American citizen.
that's right. He's a naturalized citizen. His parents were born in Nigeria. Is that right?
Parents were born in Nigeria, were living in England, in London, came to visit in 2001 to Brooklyn, New York, to visit a friend. And in a twist of fate, his mother was in New York, 7 months pregnant. And when she attempted to fly back home to England before he was born, the airline refused to let her board because she was so great pregnancy. And she stayed in Brooklyn. And he was born and became a citizen based on American citizenship by birthright. Then, as a young 1-month-old, went back to England and grew up and was raised in London. Started to play American soccer, international football at age 10. A Nigerian, not living in the United States, just born here when his mom flew in on a visit, born on U.S. soil. Now he's on the U.S. team, and Donald Trump wants to make sure that the birthright citizenship born child plays for the United States because he's a real American. Now, I'm glad to call him an American, but hey, MAGA friends, if you're comfortable with people born here when their mom's just on vacation and doesn't grow up in the United States and doesn't spend any time here and doesn't do anything, just simply born here and leaves, should be the representative of the United States, then welcome to the rest of us. Thanks for joining us. But you know what you all end up saying? And what the Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas argued? That is not how citizenship should work. The absurdity and irony and craziness of this, Rob, I haven't seen anything like it in my 60 fully lived years.
That's right.
It's completely
hilarious.
I mean, within the same week that they tried to get rid of birthright citizenship, Donald Trump argues that the birthright citizen never living in the United States or under the jurisdiction thereof should be playing for the United States of America as a true American. And all the MAGA people who say this is the world against America, is it really though? I'm glad he's on the American team. I mean, partly because I don't care about sports teams and I don't care about international teams. I don't care who represents what country. Makes no difference to me at all. But if it does to you and you're really rooting and tooting for the U.S. and their sporting events, might be some food for thought.
Yeah.
Might be some food for thought.
Well, I am now that Team USA has been eliminated from the World Cup, I'm all in on Norway.
Did you see those fun little memes that people were putting out where there was the score 4-1, Brazil over the United States? And they said, but if Mike Pence, thank you, Belgium over the United States.
But if Mike
Pence had the courage to stand up, we can reverse this.
If he'll just do the right thing.
If he'll just do the right thing. It's just so, it is just so petty and so sad. This is a great, great country being led by a complete, at this point, aged, failing, incompetent, who then can't even do the things that are going to make America good, that are going to make America safe.
Yeah.
Tankers set ablaze after being struck by a projectile in the Strait of Hormuz.
Wait. I thought we had a ceasefire. I thought the war was over.
The U.S. started a war that then we surrendered to Iran over. And we can't even, under Trump administration, surrender effectively. Can't get a ceasefire in a place that's now run by in the Strait of Hormuz that's now under the control of Iran. And before February 28th, it was not under the jurisdiction of Iran. He gave them the Strait of Hormuz, gave them billions of dollars, begged for the war to come to an end, and they've said, when we are done honoring the life of our supreme leader who you killed, then we will consider your surrender terms. It is just so This is worse than Jimmy Carter with the Iran crisis, hostage crisis, because the person being held hostage here is Donald Trump. They simultaneously has Donald Trump as hostage and the one negotiating his own release, and he can't figure out how to get out.
Can't do it.
He can't get out.
Yeah.
He literally
Listen,
can't get out of. He
this
can't
is
get out of the war with Iran, even though he keeps saying now for the 17th official statement we have a terms of end of war, and Iran says
Yeah.
no, not yet. So who's in charge? Who is in charge, Don?
Donald Trump has been claiming for a while now that he has stopped 7, 8, 9 wars. And when pushed to name which wars those are, unable to, hasn't stopped the war in
Nope.
Ukraine,
Nope.
and the aggression from Russia that he claimed he would end, even before he became president,
Yes.
during the transition.
Yes.
Day one, be a piece of cake and that thing. I think what he's attempting to do here is end the war in Iran enough times that, like, that is the 8 or 7, 8 or 9 times that he's ended wars. It's not multiple wars. It's this war he's ended multiple times.
Yes. He's ended this war multiple times in his own words, and the only people who think he hasn't ended this war is everybody else. He didn't end the war in Gaza. Didn't end the war in Ukraine. Didn't end the war that he started in Iran. It's just one simple failure after another.
Yeah.
Gas prices still record high. Eggs out of control. Tariffs and affordability crushing people in this country and businesses. No new factories opened. He has created a situation where China is now the lead producer of electric vehicle technology in the United States. Failure upon failure. He gives China the most important automobile technology production because he removed the mandate for batteries in electric vehicles sold in the United States to be fully created and assembled in the United States. So China said, thank you very much. And now companies all over the United States are buying from China and making them the leader in electric vehicles, making China stronger than ever.
Yep.
Do you know who is thrilled about Donald Trump being president of the United States? Every adversary of the United States, whether it's a political adversary, a global war adversary, or an economic adversary. All of them are in better shape.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, name one that's not any of you. Please let me know what country that sees itself in opposition to the United States is not better off.
I would think that Russia probably is not better off, but that has little to do with Donald Trump and much more to do with the resistance in Ukraine. Except you were ready with the finger to trigger to the next story.
Putin may see an opportunity to destroy NATO because Trump has decided to get rid of NATO.
Yeah, let's have a little history. Let's have a little history lesson. After World War II, the world, Europe was decimated, from all of the conflict that happened across the European continent. And it was an opportunity for the Soviet Union, for Russia, to gobble up territory. And so they did. And they were able to encroach into Europe and build this coalition of nations, the Soviet Union, that, worked together under one strongman dictator in Moscow. The Europeans realize that, like, oh, if we're not careful, this thing's going to keep on marching, and it's going to get us. And we don't, after having just defeated the Nazis, we don't have the wherewithal to stop the Soviets now if they wanted to encroach. And so there was the agreement put together, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, where basically across the North Atlantic, the United States, Canada, and the Western European countries entered into a pact of military cooperation, where if any of them are attacked, the rest of them will come to their defense. And it basically was like, hey, if you know I- if France gets attacked by the Soviet Union, everybody's coming to their defense, because France on their own can't defeat the Soviet Union. So that it was designed to stop the encroachment of Russia. And now, as Russia encroaches into Europe, Donald Trump is undermining the very thing that is designed to stop that from happening.
Yes.
And Putin is like, finally, since the 1950s, I'm finally going to have a chance. We're finally going to have a chance, to march through Europe the way we always dreamed of. That's what, they see ahead of them.
Yep. And Putin says, what would be good for me is for NATO to be weaker.
Yeah.
And what Donald Trump has done, by his own admission and design, is to pull the United States and its commitment out of NATO. And in the last couple of weeks, they have said that what resources will be available to NATO from the United States is going to be significantly reduced. So NATO is now scrambling to fill in the holes from a 40 and 50-year long agreement. And Rob, one of the things they're doing to fill the holes, NATO is now saying that rather than using conventional warfare as the backstop to anything that Moscow might do, they will use United States nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Because of Donald Trump, global alliances will move more quickly to nuclear armament. You could not design a failure greater than this administration on every issue that should matter to people who want to protect this country, people who want to protect global order, people who want to protect the innocent people in the world.
Yeah. And right now, the NATO summit has begun. The president is in Turkey, where the leaders of the NATO nations are gathering for a meeting. And instead of talking about the substantive things that are happening in the world, instead of talking about the conflict in Iran, which continues, not conflict, the war in Iran, which continues, not talking about the Israeli incursions into Damascus and as well as Gaza, not talking about the continued push of Russia into Ukraine, the destabilization of countries all over the world. Donald Trump is talking about how the United States, not Denmark, should control Greenland.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit. I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human?
Nope, he can't.
No. He can only be who he is, and this is who he is.
Look, it matters who is our representatives. Why Rob's running for Congress. It's why a bunch of other people who are very good, qualified people run for Congress. The person matters, not just the policies. Donald Trump is an abject failure.
Yeah.
And yes, I know that the majority of voters on election day in 2024 voted for Donald Trump. And it was a disastrous choice. May we make another choice at our next election. May every day the blessings of the Lord be renewed, and we start over on a new day. And in November,
And
the MAGA movement will start its final flops toward the end of life until Marjorie Taylor Greene takes over the Make America Great Again movement as a presidential candidate. I will tell you, Rob, one of the things I'm looking forward to 2028 more than anything is watching the battle within the Republican Party when the Tucker Carlsons and the Megyn Kellys and the Marjorie Taylor Greenes and the Laura Loomers and all of that crowd start to say Donald Trump is not MAGA, we are. And that man's
it's going to be fantastic.
warping brain and swelling ankles are going to be feeling the beat. But let's just say this.
Now, Doug, you said,
Democrat,
you said something tremendously important, that it's not just the policies that are important, it's the person who's important.
Yes.
And we have an absolute prime example of that right now in Maine. I'm not sure I disagree with any of the policies of Graham Plattner. He is someone that, I completely line up in terms of what we want to accomplish, how we want to go about it. I have so many friends that have been all about Graham Plattner from the get-go because of his very progressive policy positions. I have told Doug, this. I have said this. I've never really liked the guy. There's
something off.
There's like a toxic masculinity thing that happens sometimes on in progressive politics, where the attitude is instead of being different, we're going to be, we're going to match your meanness, your toxicity, your anger, your crudeness, your crassness. And he has always embodied something. There's just something about him that has made my spider senses tingle. And Doug, this. I've said this for months to you. You know.
Privately and publicly.
A few months ago, right before the primary, word came out that Graham Plattner was accused of sexual assault by multiple women. Over the weekend, maybe yesterday, that accusation, he went on to handily win the Democratic primary to face Susan Collins.
So much so that his then, I think the governor of Maine, who was running for the nomination as well, canceled,
she had dropped out.
Dropped out.
Yeah.
Because she's like, we're going to all get behind him. And he had lots of things in the background, tattoos and previous statements. And, he was marked with some things that didn't feel very good to a lot of people.
Yeah. This story that broke yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, is about a woman who claims that she was dating Graham Plattner for a while, and he came over one night over her objections, let himself into her house over her objections, and then proceeded to rape her. And it is horrific story. I read the article, and nothing in it makes me think this woman's making it up. She said that the reason she hadn't gone forward previously is because she agrees with his policies, and she was really struggling with I want Susan Collins not to be my senator, but and now Graham Plattner
Yep.
is on the brink of suspending his campaign.
Yes. I'm sure it'll
In
happen by the end of the day or tomorrow. I mean, he's really
in
had to say.
New York Times apparently is reporting now that he's got some conditions. He wants someone who is similarly progressive to replace him instead of a party moderate. And okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure when you have this going on that you should be dictating the terms
Yeah.
of your
Yeah.
end of your campaign and what the rest
Yeah.
of the party in Maine is going to do. That
Yeah.
I would just say stuff like that is an indicator that this is not the right person.
Yes.
But we run a representative form of democracy.
Yeah.
We don't run a party system that then selects its leaders, like happens in some other governmental structures.
Yeah.
And we don't want that in the United States, and no one's advocating for that. But it means that the person is going to be your representative, and that person is going to advocate for policies. But the person really matters.
Yeah.
And
And
honestly, I mean, for Democrats again to have somebody else on the national scale that Democrats have chosen to make a national awareness around, literally from California to Maine, men who have sexually assaulted women being candidates in the Democratic Party. This has to get under control. It's just so completely. I know people don't listen to our podcast, but just please, to the butterfly effect of goodness. If you have a history of assaulting people,
don't run for office. I'm sorry, I don't mean to yell, but
if someone's gonna, you know what you did last summer.
Yeah, Doug,
right?
I have sat with
for office.
I have sat with candidates and I have asked the question, before we move forward with this, is there anything I need to know? Are there any skeletons in the closet? And I've had some people tell me some things. One person, maybe I've said this before on the podcast. One person told me that they're banned from traveling to Australia, which was fantastic, because they were labeled as a environmental terrorist or something by the Australian government. One person told me that when they were in college, they were in a band that the name of the band had the F word in it. One person told me that they had spent some time on Rikers Island in prison. And I was like, okay, you're going to need to tell me that story.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic story. Somebody told me they were in an open marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. I've never been told anything by a candidate, and people have told me, some things that like, wow. If anybody had told me, like, hey, I have this accusation, this woman, I was drunk, I don't really remember. She says that I raped her. Yeah, you're not getting the endorsement.
Yeah.
Like, if you assaulted women, don't run for office. Save everybody the headache. It's just infuriating. Doesn't matter. Yeah, but he supports healthcare for all. He's a Medicare for all guy. Great.
Find
you know
somebody
what?
else
We can probably find someone who supports Medicare for all who hasn't raped anyone.
Yes, because if you can't find someone else who supports Medicare for all or fill in the blank policies that you care about, then the people of that state or that country are not going to vote for someone who has that position. If it's so fringy, we got one guy, we can't find anybody else who's. Yeah. Again, the fact that the voters or the fact that the party has to be the ones to vet this? The person should. And I know
Yes.
that people are saying to themselves right now, because I'm saying it too. Yeah, but Donald Trump in 2015 was on a bus
Yes.
and he said to people, I grab women by the genitalia and they let me do it. And I just kiss them on the mouth and I do what I want. And they like it because I'm rich.
Yeah.
And he went on to pick up more votes than he had before he said that. But let that live, I guess, over in that world. If you're going to be a Democrat, have nothing to do with that. And if you think it's too, we shouldn't be so moralistic and people can do good things and still do bad things. Yeah, okay. Look, being elected to office is hard, and it should be. Get your stuff together, and if you're not electable because you've assaulted people, sexually or otherwise, don't run for office and don't suck up everybody's time. And if you're in a decision-making role, like we do a lot of work. We work with the DCCC. We work with candidates. I'm now on the DNC Committee for Interfaith Engagement. But I'm not making decisions about candidates. Don't make all the rest of us have to respond to this stuff. And if you don't know who's out there who might say this person physically, sexually assaulted me, then don't run. Just make sure you're pretty clear, right? Have you ever tipped a friend's baby over in a stroller? No. Are you sure? Yeah, okay. But if you're like, I don't know, maybe. Okay. Do you have whole blackout periods in your life where you don't know what you did? You're not sure how it went. You've heard some things and maybe you behaved in ways that were criminal and you can't remember. Then don't run for office.
Yep.
I mean, honestly, what is ethical consideration just dragged down to Donald Trump level at in all of political life now?
Yep.
Because I don't want that. I don't think the Democratic Party wants it. I know America doesn't want it. And if somebody wants to say, well, what about what Bill Clinton was doing with an intern? Yes, that too.
Right.
Oh, it is just, and this wounded hero thing, and every good hero. No, they're not. You know, like we sometimes joke to make a point. I'm not in the Epstein files. Are you? Nope. Okay, not everybody's in the Epstein file. Can we get some people who aren't in the Epstein files to run stuff then?
Yes.
Do you know who's not in the Epstein files? Most everybody.
Yeah.
Do you know who's not assaulting women and can't seem to remember it or wants to argue about it? Most everybody.
Yeah.
It's just, Rob, it is just so.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
to your point, this guy, I mean, I've been hearing about Graham Plattner for 9 months, 12 months, 13 months. People are like, I'm not sure. That guy's got these tattoos and there's some weird stuff and he's done it. And just now, people who knew about all this are like, oh, now she's talking.
Yep.
It shouldn't be on her. It should have been on him.
Yep. Yes.
She shouldn't have to come forward.
Right. Yes, 100%. And, you know, the way different states have different rules. Like if this had happened in Arkansas,
yes,
he could drop out and he couldn't be replaced on the ballot. But in the rules in Maine allow for the party to choose someone else. But the deadline is July 13th. So he's got to drop out. And then there's some talk about having a caucus or, a convention.
Now they've got a
let
Biden
people
Kamala
choose.
Harris problem in Maine where it's
Yes.
like, oh, the guy's now not going to run. Who do we get and how do they build support?
Yeah.
And
And
if anybody in my presence or in the little tippy taps of the comments here says something like, well, why did she wait so long? She should have said something sooner. It's not on her.
It's not on her. Yeah.
A victim of assault shouldn't have to calculate when she says that maybe this guy shouldn't be the candidate for Senate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the person who knows is the guy who is the candidate for Senate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, Doug. So, I mean, we're clear. Rape disqualifies you from being a United States senator in our minds. What about being incapacitated, unconscious in intensive care unit, Doug? Can you still be a United States senator then?
Apparently, yes.
The world is waiting to see what's going to happen with Mitch McConnell, the former Senate Majority Leader, Senator for Kentucky, who is apparently, not been seen for weeks, 3 weeks or so.
Yeah, like
there
the
was
14th of June or something.
Yeah, there was the release of the report. I don't know if it was a recording, but it basically found out that they did CPR, life-saving procedures on him when he was taken to the hospital. And now apparently Laura Loomer, which, you take it for what it is, consider the source. Laura Loomer says that he's quote unquote brain dead.
Yeah.
In a
an
vegetative
internet troll
state.
says.
Yeah. All of this, gets really complicated because the margins are so close.
Yes.
And
okay.
McConnell.
So let's consider the idea that Mitch McConnell is the senator from the great state of Kentucky. If he becomes lifeless or otherwise incapacitated and can't fulfill his duly elected service, who decides to refill that seat?
So, Kentucky, as you know, has Democratic governor, Andy Beshear. Apparently, and I just saw this morning, so this is what I learned today. Apparently, this last year, the Kentucky legislature changed the rules.
Oh, I wonder why just this year they changed the rules.
Anticipating that maybe Mitch McConnell wouldn't survive his term, which requires there to be instead of Andy Beshear just appointing an interim senator.
The way it has been.
Yes.
For
I think he'd have to call a special session of state legislature. I don't know what the process is now, but it seems like it is not just in Andy Beshear's hands, which means, someone like Charles Booker, who is the Democratic nominee for Senate in Kentucky, received far more primary votes than the Republican nominee for Senate in Kentucky in their respective primaries. It's not like he could get appointed. He's not going to get appointed, and given the, the little lift of incumbency, even for a few months before the election. It certainly seems to me like we will be down a United States senator, and the people of Kentucky will not be fully represented.
They're going to call a special election. Apparently, that's what's going to happen.
No, there is an election in November.
Yes, but I think.
You think they'll call a special election
to sign
before?
A proclamation calling for a special election. The seat simply stays empty until the citizens of Kentucky vote to fill the remainder of the unexplained.
See, I don't think they'll call a special election. I just think they'll wait till November.
I just think they'll wait.
Yeah, they'll run out the clock on it.
Whatever happens,
that's my sense.
The balance of the Senate for some number of days, weeks, months.
Shifts. Yeah.
Shifts.
Yeah. And interestingly, it's not just this isn't a clear win for Democrats in the purely political gamemanship of it. because certainly we're talking about a human being's life here. So I don't want to, like total. But Mitch McConnell has, over the last several months, consistently voted against Donald Trump's agenda. He voted against the SAVE Act. He has been someone who finally, as we
Yes.
have seen with many of these folks, once they are announced their retirement, now they're willing to actually, oppose Donald Trump. Mitch McConnell has done that. And so this is not just like, oh, well, Republicans are losing a seat in the Senate. That's good. It also could be that Democrats are losing a Republican vote on their side on some
doesn't a
key
no
issues.
vote also mean a no vote? In other words, if there's no
Yeah.
one to vote for something Donald Trump wants with the Republican majority and they're down one, they don't have that as a yes vote, makes it
Yeah.
a permanent no vote. I think.
Yeah.
Now, there might be something that Republicans don't want and Democrats do, and they're going to try to rally up and pull Mitch McConnell over, and he's never going to do that.
Yeah.
So somehow, I think it makes things better for a while, which is why there's going to be a big push to get a Republican in that seat for things that could be voted on in the fall. Because if they don't call a special election, then the Senate seat is not going to be filled until 2027, when the person who wins the election in November is sworn in. Because if it's not a special election, I
you
think
wait till January.
I think there's some things they got.
Yeah.
Can I just make this point? Hey,
No.
really older people that are still Congress members, senators, presidents, Supreme Court justices, know when it's time to step away and stop dying in office of old age. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just as can we just could we just take old age deaths out of the equation for figuring out how to do replacements of elected officials? What?
Yep.
I'm not saying old people don't have something to contribute, but not every job should be for every person of every age. And when your health starts to fail and you're shaking and you've fallen down and you've lost track of what you've had to say and people behind you have to whisper in your ear where you are, deal with this in good time. All of them, all the old people who can't function to fulfill their jobs. I mean, there's just a point where it's like, why do we do this to ourselves in this country? Why do we allow this level of, and then frankly, keep voting for them? Because Mitch McConnell, well, I guess it was 6 years ago, and he probably looked more spry after he'd accomplished, saying, I'm going to vote no on impeaching Donald Trump because there's other remedies. I don't want to gloat in anyone's death. I've gloated on people's lives. Like, happy birthday, everybody. If you had a birthday recently, should be gloat about that. But in November, we're going to have a chance to swap out a bunch of people who are current senators and a bunch of people who are currently in the House of Representatives and a bunch of people that are representing states in state legislatures all over the country. It's a good time for a change.
Yep, absolutely.
I think, Rob, that this will be determined in the boxy political terms as a change election. Don't you think?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, we're going to call this a change election. So a lot of people are going to get swept up in a change election. And it might be that the good people of Northwest Arkansas are time to give a fresh look at the Womack seat.
That's right. Well, no, it's not his seat. It's the people's seat. Yeah.
He's just got his name in front of it.
Yeah. But not the paid for.
Yeah.
Certainly not in a box.
Oh, well, thanks for running for office, all of you. Thanks for caring about democracy. Thanks for being. Hey, I'm sure the trolls are gone now. I don't know what algorithm we hit. They got the trolls here. I just want to go
Wow,
through.
it just was.
I just want to go through a couple so that other people can see them and people listening can hear.
Yeah, if you're on different platforms, early on in the podcast, it was just boom, 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 boom. We were getting hammered with the troll comments.
Just from the title that Donald Trump.
Hey, Doug, one of Vanessa's friends, one of the people that she went to seminary with, I got to meet when we were out in Seattle, and this person sent me a Facebook friend request after that, and I accepted it. And a couple days ago, he called Vanessa and said, "Hey, are you guys all right? Are you doing okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." What? It's like, well, I was just reading the comments on Rob's Facebook posts, and I just wanted to call and check on you and make sure you're all right. Because the people can be mean. And Vanessa was like, she's totally oblivious. Like, oh,
yeah, people say. Look, I mean,
guess the trolls are coming after us.
I know this is. I've now learned in my life this is a part of a particular kind of temperament that I happen to have. I remember being a kid and watching other kids on school buses yell at people out the window, because kids would just yell stuff at folks. And you realize it's not about the person they're yelling at. It's just about the act of yelling, the screwing around, or, you yell little curse words or silly things or fatty boomalati or something to people out the window. It's not the person you're saying it to. All of that is coming from inside. So it's very easy for me to be like, I'm not saying I'm over your glue, but good grief. And this, I just think there's an indicator here of the online, and here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to clump all MAGA supporters, certainly not all Republicans, certainly not all people who don't vote for Democrats, in the same clump of people who are on the internet and willing to write comments. That is a subset of a subset of a subset of a subset of people. This person just starts out within a minute saying, "You people are nothing but idiots with TDS, Trump derangement syndrome," which, by the way, the person who coined that phrase was a state senator, I think maybe from Illinois. Do you know about this? Who coined Trump derangement syndrome? And he was just convicted on child molestation charges.
Oh, of course.
Because of course he did. So she says, "You guys are idiots." Okay, so here we go. We're idiots. And then what a joke, which I'm sure was an honest response to a great joke. Maybe the one about everybody.
What a joke!
Everybody I know has a birthday this year. A nice little good morning and a nice little hello. Then Rick comes in here with a a big old tappy. He's only failed because you hate this country and you hate him more than you love your country. You're sad excuses for human beings and should probably just jump ship and go to live in a third world communist country, something of choice. You can't just. Sorry, our comments only stay up so long. He wrote. You just can't leave it alone for one day and be proud of where we live and what we've achieved instead, because TDS. You so bad things, you practice hate and division. Okay. They'll comment about this. Do you remember when Joe Biden was president? You remember when Barack Obama was president? And then Richard comes in. I'm not sure Richard's a real person, but if he's playing a guitar, then I'm gonna have comments with Richard. 2 losers. Just writes 2 losers.
Yeah.
And then we get a little where's your Plattner 2028 sign?
Yeah, Barry. Wish you had stayed, wish you had listened before and wish you had stayed on, because you would know that we're not Graham Plattner supporters and haven't been and vocally haven't been.
And
even before today.
And Barry, if you don't want someone who is accused of rape to run for president,
Yeah.
I'm sure you didn't vote for Donald Trump. Just blue will be crushed. Grown men obsess over one man, just one TDS-fueled anti-American nut job. This thing that we have Trump derangement syndrome, we're daily, weekly, naming the things the president of the United States does, I don't think should be considered derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Who are these two damn jokers? Obviously, Mitch McConnell's not the only one who's brain dead. So are the two of you. You've just been insane. Biggest, most beautiful celebration of our country ever. Blah blah blah. Delusional. Okay, now it's going to start to get even more sort of. There's just so many more little comments here. We love our King Daddy Trump. Okay, and again, are we the
don't? Yeah,
deranged?
I mean, don't wait. Yeah, don't bypass this one too quickly. We love our King Daddy Trump.
Yeah, all caps.
American flag, bicep picture, heart, hands, heart. Boy.
Logan says, not 1 ounce of testosterone here. Now it starts into the we're not men. This is how it goes. You people are crazy. You people aren't real Americans. You people aren't real men, right? You think you're wise, but you're deranged. You aren't Americans. You aren't real men. You aren't successful. You are losers. Right? This is the support.
Show me you suck at life without being able to say it. Oh wow, 2 dudes in a hole, 1 shovel.
Right? Again,
I'm not even sure I know what that means, but
and then somebody gives very, very long. Ethan gives very long responses and explanations. Idiots we are. Yes, I'm looking at you two, GD fools. You are traitors to everything this country stands for. Look, I think it would be quite possible to run a podcast where we say things like Donald Trump is a traitor to his oath of office. But anybody criticizing the United States of America, whether you're criticizing Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George W. Bush, Donald Trump, by definition doesn't make you a traitor. In fact, you can't really be a traitor as just a regular old citizen. Donald Trump has taken an oath of office. Rob will soon take an oath of office. Then he could be a traitor. You can say anything you want about this, the good of this country, the bad of this country. You're not a traitor. I had a conversation with some people yesterday, and I was making this point, which I made on the podcast a lot. And there were 3 people there with me, so there were 4 of us. And all 3 of them had a very concerned and unagreeable look on their face when I said, in the United States, people have the freedom and the protected freedom to say and think really horrible things. MAGA supporters, separate point, MAGA supporters the deepest, darkest involved ones, the anti-immigrant ones, the women shouldn't vote on their own ones, the comply or die, don't carry weapons to protect yourself ones, are all Americans. The Christian nationalists are Americans.
The Patriot Front walking around Washington, D.C. with Confederate flags
Are Americans.
are Americans.
Donald Trump is a traitor, is an American. I hope he finds out what it means to be, under the, what's the phrase in the birthright citizenship case that they want to do, under the jurisdiction of. Can't wait for him to find out what it means to be under the jurisdiction of. But he's an American. Prisoners are Americans. Criminals like Donald Trump are Americans. Felons are Americans. People who hate America are Americans. And it's our job to protect the rights of all of those people to even express those views. And if we try to say we, whatever our we is, want to take the country back from them so that they're not part of the country, that is what violates the American commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean everybody should have every job. I think MAGA supporters should not be elected to run the government because they've shown they can't do it in good conscience and for the common good. But they're Americans.
Mm-hmm.
But what you see in all of these screeds is you disagree, so you're a traitor. You're not American. You hate the country. Get out. Real quick. Who's not American in that exchange? Who's not expressing the American thing? And again, it doesn't matter what if you get on a bus or a train and there's a bunch of white nationalists wearing masks, they are Americans.
Yep.
You have to make sure that political position doesn't have power and isn't put into law. When anybody's behavior violates the law, that's where we all have something to say about it through our laws. So when Donald Trump commits the crimes that he's committed and he's been arrested for those and he's been charged and he's been found guilty in a court of law, that's how that doesn't make him not an American, just makes him a guilty one. And there are certain behaviors that we don't allow Americans to do, and there's certain behaviors that we encourage Americans to do. But even if you don't do them or you do them, you're still an American. Because if you want to live in an America that's not that, that's an America that's somebody gets to decide at some point, it's going to be somebody who doesn't agree with you.
Yep.
There is one choice in a free democracy. And look, we've decided in this country to not have hate speech laws. We've decided to have hate action laws. Some people argue against enhancements of things called hate crimes because they're not sure why it matters what somebody was thinking other than if it goes to their intent. I support hate laws because I think it goes to their intent. It's a great argument to have in a society. We should be having it. But you can think and say anything you need to think and say.
Mm-hmm.
We might be idiots,
but we're Americans.
We're American idiots. Right? I mean, and so are they, right? I mean, this.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, just one more. You liberal white trash cease to amaze me. I think there was a typo there, but that's okay. Look, disdain. Get it? Political
contempt.
Disdain. Contempt. In religion, in the Jewish religion, and thereby proxy the Christian religion, the word you're looking for is abomination. which doesn't mean the most kind of sin. It means the thing you do that people find disgusting. We've ended up using abomination in religious terms as if it's like a sin that's like double-deckered. It's the opposite of that. Abominations are not a literal sin. They are a violation of cultural norms.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little hint. So you tend to try to make things illegal that you think are gross. Spitting on the sidewalk. Two people kissing that you don't think should be kissing. This kind of thing. Just if I find it. Public urination. Unseemly. It's an abomination. Yeah, you can be disgusted by all kinds of things. You can be disgusted by people's views. Donald Trump's views are despicable, harmful. But you can't love America if you hate the idea of America. That it's not the land of the right and the home of those we agree with.
Yep.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. And we work like crazy to make sure that some ideas have the support of law and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the political process that we use in a democratic form of elections to support the republic. A constitutional republic.
Yep.
For people that say we're not a democracy.
Oh boy.
Do you have a final salutation for the good people or anything?
Hey, now that Team USA is knocked out of the World Cup, go Norway.
Do you think they all just flew back to their home countries now that they don't represent the U.S. anymore? How many other World Cup members don't live in the United States? Just born here and then gone.
It's really funny to watch some of the other teams and to be like, oh yeah, this guy grew up in Wisconsin.
Yes.
Yeah.
People who maybe even are American citizens, but then have their other citizenship or their heritage or their.
Yep.
Jim, you've missed a great broadcast, but good to see you. All right, everybody. Jim is one of the more faithful viewers and contributors here on the chat, and got to pop in for the last minute. Yeah. Okay, we done?
We're done.
I'm finished. I'm done. All right. Happy week, everybody, and vote common good.